Alright, hello everyone, Adam VZ from PC Clear Computer Services and Gaming. There was a question put out a while ago to one of the Facebook groups that I belong to on how to make a cat5 patch cable or how to put another RJ45 end on a cable. So I'm going to show you all how to do this right now. What I have here is I have a length of cable with no ends on it. There's no ends on the cable. Okay. No end there and no end there. Okay, so we're going to put ends on this cable right now. If you're not familiar with cat5 cable, you should be if you want to do anything in networking. Cat5 or cat5e or cat6, it's all basically the same thing. The thing is that it has 8 wires in it, 4 individual pairs of wires. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and these are the ends that we are going to use. These are RJ45 ends. They have 8 pins in there. And I'm going to show you how to do this the right way, because I've seen this done many ways, and yeah, some of them are kind of crappy. So I'm going to show you how to do it the right way, the correct way. I made this little handout here. The standard that we're going to be using is going to be called T568B. Okay, there is an A standard where the orange and green pairs are swapped. That's if you're making a crossover cable, but we're just making a straight through cable here. Now, you'll notice that there are 8 wires here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll notice that it's orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, and brown, white, brown. That's kind of a dark brown, but it's brown, white, brown. All right. Now this is the order that the wires are going to have to be in when you put the wires into the RJ45 jack and you crimp it down. Alright, so I'm going to leave that right there so we can refer back to that. The tool that we're going to be using, or the tool that I'm going to be using, is a crimp down tool. Alright, now this crimp down tool will do 6 pair, 8 pair wire, because sometimes 6 pair for telephone systems and things like that, and 8 pin for the RJ45 jacks. Alright, now it also has a wire cutter, wire cutter here, and a wire stripper here. Alright, I'm going to show you how to use this tool effectively. Now you'll notice, look there, when I press the handle down, maybe you can see it from the other side a little better. Here we go. You see these little guys? I don't know if that's showing up on camera too well because of the, or what. We'll assume it is. There we go. How's that? These little comb things right here are what's going to press down on the RJ45 end. And it's going to cause these, if you look to the side here, you'll see that little gold connector there has a little tooth on it. Well, when you crimp it down, it pushes these little gold pins into the cable to make an electrical connection. Alright, now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to strip back some of this cable, some of this outer shielding of the cable. This is unshielded twisted pair wire. We're going to strip some of this back to get to the pairs of wire inside of it. Now the way we do that is we are going to put the cable inside the wire stripper. Now the one thing you do not want to do not do this, is you don't want to clamp all the way down on it and strip the wire. Okay, you see how it's difficult to turn there? You see how it's twisting and everything? Alright, let me show you why you don't want to do that. Because if I take the shielding off, there is a probability that I have cut into and compromised one of the wire pairs. Alright, one of the wires and stuff like that. These wires are not that tough. Okay? So I'm going to clip this back. And the way that we do want to do this is I put the cable in the wire stripper here, and I close down about maybe 3/4 of the way, and I turn the stripper, and maybe that wasn't enough. It's better not to, have it too much than not enough in some cases. So I'm going to do that. Turn this around once or twice. There we go. Now I can see maybe I did that right. Nope, not even that. Let me get it here. I'm get it out from in front of the camera. There's different grades of Cat5 too. This one seems to be one of the ones with a more rubbery outer jacket to it. Go. Okay. Once we get the jacket off of it, there we go. You can see that we have the 4 individual wires. Right? Now, in some Cat5 cable, not necessarily this one, but in some Cat5 cable, you'll see a white string in there too. You can cut that off. What that white string is for is if you just need the bare wires, not bare wires, but just the pair of wires themselves. You don't need the outer jacket on any of the length of cable you have. You take that string and you pull it, and it cuts the jacket for you. As long as you pull the string, it'll cut the jacket. So you can just get to the wire pairs. If you've ever seen something like a 66 block or something like that that you're punching down wires for a telephone system. Now, what I generally do here is I take these 4 pairs of wires and I untwist the wires. Now you'll notice that I got a lot of wire here. And you know, that's alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to untwist all the pairs. I'm going to do it off camera, because that way I don't have to stretch in front of the camera to do it. This is fairly easy enough to visualize me doing. And I straighten the wires out because you're going to get a little twist in there. So I just take my finger and I straighten the wire out so it's not all curly and everything like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my wires in the order of the standard. You see how I have all the wires here right now. They're all straight and untwisted and everything like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these wires and I'm going to put them in the order that we have on our list. Orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, and brown, white, brown. Now you really got to be careful on some Cat5 cable as well, because the orange and the brown kind of look the same color, so you really got to be able to differentiate between them. And you'll notice I'm going to take some extra care here. I'm going to make sure that these are just unwound here and everything like that. Just take your time the first couple times you do this. After that it'll become pretty standard for you to do it. And I'm going to check my wires out. I have orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, and brown, white, brown. And you really got to watch these things. These things are just kind of tricky. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wire clippers and I'm going to clip back most of this wire here. Right about to about there. And the reason I use a little bit more wire than I have to is so you can untwist the pairs without, like, you know, using short wires and stuff like that, and that just kind of sucks. So we just don't do that. Alright, I want to make sure my wires are straight here. Okay. And then with the tab, you see how there's that tab there on the RJ45 connector? With that tab facing down, I want to put the wire in here. Okay. Orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. Alright, and I want you to notice something, how I'm putting the connector on here. I've cut these wires just right. If you don't do it your first time or 10, don't worry about it. Practice this stuff. Go to Lowe's, pick up some RJ45 connectors, and you know, if you don't need a whole box of cable, pick up a 25-foot patch cord or something. Probably about the same price, but whatever. Or just get some old patch cables and try this, right? You'll notice how the part that's going to be crimped down. Now when I crimp this down, the crimper is going to hit this part right here, and it's going to secure the connector to the cable. You want the jacket of the cable, the outer part that we stripped back earlier on, you want that to be there, right? Because if you don't, if you just have the wires here, it will destroy the wires. And over time, it will compromise the integrity of the cable. All right, so I've got the correct pin out. Look there. There we go. We can see the gold connectors there. They have not made contact with the wires yet because I haven't crimped it yet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crimp this wire. I'm going to put it in my 8-pin connector here, right? Go. And I'm going to squeeze down. I usually do it twice just to be sure, and I make sure that my hand is at the end of the handles so I get the maximum force over there. There we go. Now we can see that those little gold connectors have pierced the wire, and I have made a Cat5 cable. You also want to check the top of them to make sure you don't have one wire that's maybe down a little bit and the connection missed it or something. And there are various Cat5 testers that you can get to test your cables after you make them. I have one. I suggest you get one just to test them, because things can happen in the fog of war, so to speak. And like I said previously, some Cat5 cable, the brown and the orange look similar, so you might make a mistake there. That type of thing. There are some anti-stress boots that you can put on. You have to put it on before you put the connector on. Anti-snag things. Those are kind of a mixed bag for some people. Some people like them, some people don't. I like the ones you can move that aren't like static on there. Like here, the ends I cut off of this to begin with. Where are they at? There we go. Nope, this didn't have it. Oh well. I like the ones you can move because you can move them out of the way to put the cable into a network card or a switch and take it out of a network card and a switch. But you can put the anti-snag thing on there, so if you're pulling the cable out through some other cables, this part, this little tab right here, doesn't get broke. If that little tab ever breaks off, either replace the cable or replace the end, because this cable is what keeps the stress, is what keeps the cable end in the switch, or in the port rather. It can be a switch, a router, network card, whatever. But it keeps the tension in there so it doesn't just fall out. If this tab breaks off, even like the slightest breeze, it seems like, will come through, and this will just fall out, or it'll become halfway disconnected. And now you're tracking down a network problem. So anyway, guys, that's my take on making a Cat5, Cat5e, patch cable. Let me know what you think in the comment sections. Thanks a lot.